Hello friends, back again. Thank you so much for tuning in. This video we talk about one of the greatest expansions Monster Hunter has ever seen. Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Iceborne essentially doubled the amount of content in this game. They expanded on everything that worked well, they gave us even more than we thought we would get, and they added in tons of new and returning monsters. Monster Hunter Iceborne gave us so much. It gave us Master Rank, it gave us more monsters, more moves for every weapon, a better endgame loop, better title updates, more title updates than World, a beautiful headquarters, a super efficient gathering hub, new training area features, new Palico changes, a brand new minigame, personal mounts that you can ride, craftable layered armor, layered weapons, Fatalis! This game gave us so much. Iceborne was originally released on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 September 6, 2019, and later released January 9th, 2020 on Windows. They really gave the players exactly what they wanted with this game. First of all, they gave us a G-Rank expansion and actually renamed it Master Rank. They gave us a brand new village called Seliana, and it is probably one of the best villages to date. It's a beautiful, snowy mountain aesthetic, and everything is very nicely compact, and you don't have to travel too far to get to any one facility. They also gave the room a massive upgrade. Your room is huge, and you can also customize almost every feature about it. You can also change the music that's going on in your room, and you can even invite friends into your room to show off all of your Endemic Life swag. Speaking of Endemic Life, you can actually catch small and large Gold Crown Endemic Life. They also added a brand new minigame in Seliana called the Steamworks. After mining during quests, you'll get fuel for the Steamworks, and if you give the Steamworks fuel, you can play this minigame, which you'll get an assortment of random items. Sometimes you'll get promotional items too during events, like prints that you can exchange for mantles. Not only did our base of operations get an upgrade, but we got an upgrade for the Gathering Hub. It is a beautiful looking Gathering Hub. We now have a spa. You can't argue with that. But not only that, we also have access to the smithy, which was inaccessible in the old Gathering Hub. We also have easy access to things like the Argosy, our room, and even bounties. The training area also got an upgrade. It had a slight tweak to include a monster-like target that we can test the Clutch Claw on. One thing I left out of my Monster Hunter World video was actually the Tailrider Safari. The Tailrider Safari is a nice feature. You can send out cats to gather materials for you from specific regions and monsters that you choose. Since we're on the topic of cats, the Palico level cap was increased, and they have received new gadgets. The Myalatov cocktail, which is able to damage monsters. If you have high enough friendship level with certain critters in different areas, you actually can now mount tail riders. That's right, mounting was first introduced in this expansion. You can sharpen your weapons, take items, and basically just tell it where to go. You can't freely control it, but you can mark a spot on the map and it'll go to that point. I know, sounds like a great idea in theory, but usually just wound up looking something like this. They also added 2-player scaled quest difficulty while playing multiplayer. So now there is 1, 2, and 4-player scaled difficulty. That's right, Master Rank is scaled to single player and 2-player now. Mantles were actually tuned slightly to include decoration slots while in Master Rank. Skills only activate when you're wearing the mantle, but different mantles have different slots for you to include skills in them. The Glider Mantle also became completely OP. The cooldown went from 210 seconds to 120 seconds, and you got 2 level 4 slots. Damn, level 4 slots? Yes, that's right. Now we have level 1, 2, 3, and 4 slots slot decorations. The different level of decorations is how big the decoration is. Obviously, smaller decorations can fit into larger decoration slots, but the larger the slot, the more rare the skill is, or the more difficult it is to build for it. Level 4 decorations actually supply you with 2 points of one skill, or even 3 on occasion, and they can also have 2 different skills. In Iceborne, certain skills got slight changes. Critical Eye actually improved the amount of affinity you would gain, and some skills got nerfed, like Weakness Exploit. They also gave us brand new skills in the game. They gave us new skills like Offensive Guard and Coalescence, and then later with some patches we got Clutch Claw Boost. I also didn't cover skill set bonuses in the last video, so let's talk about those quickly. A skill set bonus is when you get a new skill from wearing a certain number of armor pieces from a particular set. It could be a variety of different things, like Good Luck all the way up to this ability, Velcana Divinity. Having 2 pieces of this armor gives you increased elemental damage, and having 4 pieces gives you the ability Frostcraft. Another thing that's new for Iceborne is skill secrets. This actually allows skills to level further than what was previously available. They also added in radial menus being linked with item sets for easier customizable sets. They also added a craft all option into the radial menu. The last video was so long I really didn't have time to talk about the locales, but we ended up only getting 5 locales in Monster Hunter World: Elder's Recess, Ancient Forest, Wildspire Waste, Rotten Vale, and Coral Highlands. In the Iceborne expansion, they teased before release that there would only be 1 new area, but this area would be the largest area we have seen ever, and it was gorgeous. This area is known as the Hoarfrost Reach. It is a massive area with tons of different environments just inside one area. It also has a huge mountain that you can climb, and getting to the top of it is very exciting. But upon completing the story of Iceborne, you actually unlock a new area. This area is called the Guiding Lands. This area was specifically for the Endgame grind. They completely changed the endgame loop in Iceborne. In Monster Hunter World, the base game, the endgame loop was all about finding tempered investigations of things like the Elder Dragons, which there were only about 5 of in the original base Monster Hunter World, and through those quests you could get items to augment your gear. It was an incredibly tedious process because you wouldn't actually be guaranteed to get the weapon augment that you would need for your specific weapon that you play with. It was just completely random. Instead, with Iceborne, the endgame loop was more focused on the Guiding Lands, in which every single monster, or at least almost every monster that you fought in the story of Iceborne, would appear again in the Guiding Lands and would have unique material drops. These unique item drops were then used to augment gear, and you could only get these items from fighting those monsters in the Guiding Lands. So this time around, you're not limited to fighting the same Elder Dragons over and over again. You have access to all the monsters that you fought in the game, tempered and non-tempered. The Guiding Lands was actually a brilliant idea where you would take pieces of every single different locale and make them into one giant area. This way you don't have to load into different areas to fight different monsters. You can just fight monsters back to back, as many as you'd like, and level up very quickly. The materials gained in the Guiding Lands, like I said, were used for weapon augments and armor augments. The weapon augment system has changed, where you don't need a random drop to give you the sword augment material. Instead, all the different weapons take the same materials, and you can pick and choose which weapons you would like to augment. You could also augment your armor, allowing you to further upgrade that piece. Layered armor is now craftable at the smithy. The layered armor is craftable from Guiding Lands materials, so you'd have to fight different monsters in the Guiding Lands and then bring those supplies back to the smithy. But basically, at the end of Iceborne, almost every armor was craftable as a layered armor, which is really, really cool. Not to mention, we got layered weapons as well. This was a first for the series and was super fun. This expansion added so many monsters to the roster of Monster Hunter World Iceborne. They brought back tons of returning monsters and then also added in brand new monsters on top of that. Our returning monsters are Yingaruga, Scarred Yingaruga, Barioth, Brachy, Raging Brachy, Savage Deviljo, Elatrion, Fatalis, Glavenus, Nargacuga, Rajang, Furious Rajang, Silver Rathalos, Gold Rathian, Tigrex, Brute Tigrex, Zinogre, and Stygian Zinogre. The new monsters for Iceborne were Acidic Glavenus, Banbaro, Beatotus, Coral Puki, Ebony Otogoron, Frostfang Barioth, Fulgur Anjanath, Nightshade Palumu, Seething Basilgeuse, Shrieking Legiana, Viper Tobi Kadachi, Blackveil Valhazak, Namiel, Ruiner Nergigante, Safi Jiva, Shara Ishvalda, and the flagship monster, Velkhana. The slinger got expanded to include a mechanic called the Clutch Claw, allowing hunters to grapple onto parts of monsters and creating a weak point by attacking them. Those weak points increase their overall damage. When weakening monsters, the weapon type affects the outcome. Heavy weapons weaken in one attack, while light weapons take 2 attacks but give you free ammo. If you Clutch Claw onto the monster's face, you also have the option to slap the monster. If you do this, it'll turn the monster. You can then shoot the monster in the face with slinger ammo, forcing it to run forward, and if there is a wall in front of it, it will actually run into the wall, giving you a certain amount of time to get damage on it while it's down. Every weapon now has access to the slinger while their weapon is drawn, so you can actually shoot ammo while your weapon is drawn. Many weapons also got the ability to fire flinch shots with ammo, and some weapons can use these mid-combo. Capcom also gave every weapon brand new moves, like for instance the Insect Glaive got this dive attack, the Longsword got the special sheath and another counter, and the hammer is just a meme.
Do a barrel roll!
Lastly, I would just like to talk about the end game of Iceborne. In Monster Hunter World, the base game, the end game consisted of, after grinding a bunch of augmentations, you could fight arc-tempered monsters, and these were extremely challenging versions of previous Elder Dragons. There was also Extremith, which, yes, was very hard. But a lot of the fans were not interested in fighting the same monsters. We wanted something that was a very good challenge, but didn't just have a bigger health pool and hit harder, you know? We wanted something that left more of an impact. The developers really listened to the fans, and they gave us something we all really wanted, which were black dragons. These fights offered a level of difficulty that wasn't in previous quests. And yes, sometimes there was quite the difficulty spike, but it wasn't so difficult to the point that it was unmanageable. With practice, you could still do it. Capcom directly put Fatalis in the game because the fans were so excited about the 15th anniversary poster having a new render of Fatalis. They thought the fans were so jazzed by it that they would love to fight Fatalis in the game, so they put him in. That just goes to show how much Capcom is really listening and really paying attention to their fan base by just giving us what we want. Also, they make some of the best games ever. No loot boxes, free content after the game launches, DLC, free DLC. Thank you, Capcom. Thank you. But not just thank you to Capcom, thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it. We'll see you when Monster Hunter Rise comes out. You have yourselves a damn good one. Take care.
So tasty!